How does the culture of an organization affect its performance? This was a central question for Dean Rich Lyons, who worked to create a long-lasting culture at UC Berkeley-Haas School of Business. Lyons spearheaded a culture initiative based upon 4 defining principles that would represent the values of the school. These principles would guide both high-level decisions and the daily activities of students, faculty, staff, and alumni. The intent was to drive the school to develop students who would become strong, diplomatic, and flexible leaders. The 4 defining principles were question the status quo, confidence without attitude, students always, and beyond yourself, and they were central to many culture-building efforts developed during Lyons' tenure as dean at Berkeley-Haas. In 2017, as he prepared to leave the position to incoming Dean Ann Harrison, many efforts were undertaken to ensure that the culture-building work was preserved. First, a survey was conducted to establish the value of the culture initiative. This survey revealed that 75% of students cited the principles as a strong reason for choosing to attend Berkeley-Haas, and more than 90% of alumni from the past decade were familiar with the principles and cited them as beacons in navigating their careers and lives. Next, the principles were actually carved into the building at the front entrance of the school, serving as a symbol of their intended permanence. Students created a pulse survey that allowed the school to track feedback across all programs, developing a baseline that would allow administrators to evaluate the status of the school's culture. Additionally, the board sent a memo to the entire school stating unequivocal support for the 4 principles and committing to conducting a review 1 year into the next dean's term to assess how the community did in keeping the culture asset strong. Additional efforts were made in the classroom. For example, a coding map was introduced to determine what ways the defining principles were represented in a given course. Teaching evaluations were also updated with a question asking students whether an instructor represented well the school's 4 defining principles. Finally, the school launched a culture leadership fund that was pitched to many of the school's closest donors and friends. The fund surpassed its target, raising nearly $250,000 to be used for additional culture-strengthening initiatives for future years. At this time, Berkeley-Haas continues to engage all its contingencies, students, faculty, staff, alumni, donors, and the board alike, as it prioritizes its cultural preservation. All groups offer innovative ideas on how to connect the promise that the defining principles will continue to strengthen the school's culture and identity. It is a strong indication that Berkeley-Haas is well on the way to its goal of becoming known as the business school most defined by culture. To learn more about the Berkeley-Haas Culture Initiative, please read the case study, The Berkeley-Haas School of Business, Codifying, Embedding, and Sustaining Culture, available now from the Berkeley-Haas Case Series.